who doesn't know me, I am Stefania, and I am a London-based Italian style coach, founder of One of a Style. So in a few words, what I do usually is to help people feel more confident and so look and feel great and develop their personal style. The idea of this talk, this series of talk actually, is because I am an entrepreneur, but I also am a mom, and this whole situation really turned my life upside down. So I decided to give my knowledge and help people in this situation, especially women, because I think women and moms are the most affected by the situation, whether they are running their own business or working, because moms are the ones who need to mostly take care of the children, provide snacks, and also take care of the house, of the shopping. But at the same time, someone else is, my sister is joining. At the same time, I think if we run our own business or we have to keep on working, it's really important to understand how to manage our time, our energy, and also find the time and energy to take care of ourselves too. It's gonna be difficult, and I don't deny that the first days of this situation have been really, really tough for me. And I was wondering, how can I do it? How can I get out of it? How can I make my business survive this? It's just a matter, I think, of understanding how to accept the situation, coping with it, deal with it in a new way that is different from what it was before. And I decided to ask other professionals like Dymphna today to join our forces and our skills to, help you to cope with the situation as best as possible, and also get out of it, feeling your best self and ready to get back on track. Okay. And last thing, I really believe that women, and especially mothers, are naturally gifted with resilience. So all we need to do is to find it inside ourselves and hold on to it. All right. Do you want to introduce yourself, Dymphna?
Yeah, just briefly. So hi everyone, nice to see some of you again, and nice to meet some of you for the first time. So my name's Dymphna D'Costa, and I'm a business and abundance coach, mentor and consultant. So what I do is I help women that really want to and are really ambitious about leading abundant lives and businesses. So my experience, I've got 26 years working with companies, corporates. I had my own accountancy practice, helping individuals and businesses, and individuals in business and also small businesses. So I use those skills and experience to help my clients now, as well as abundance in other aspects of their lives. So that's me in a nutshell.
Okay, do you want to start with giving your tips, sharing your
yeah, tips with no us? Problem. Yeah, sure. So the first section that the first things that I wanted to talk about actually, and I'm absolutely no guru on this subject. So the idea of today, I think, was just for us to talk about our perspective on it and to share ideas as well. And what I found, this is kind of what I found useful for me. So I suppose the first place I wanted to start before going into planning and all of that kind of things is about being kind to ourselves. As mums, in my view, even though dads are like just as capable, I think we take on a lot ourselves. So at the moment, I think it's important to look at what we are doing and not focus on what we're not doing, because the chances are we're probably doing more than enough in any event. Right now, I think most of us are we had the words in the first few weeks where, this is an unprecedented situation. And now I hear words like this is the new normal. And, sometimes we might not even be in the new normal yet. And that's totally okay. Some of us still might be in shock, and I think it's just accepting that, where we are is where we are, and that's totally okay. And let's just give ourselves like a break. So as Stefania was saying, most of us are probably juggling being primary school teachers or secondary school teachers, and we're trying to sort of like keep our partners and our little ones sane. We're running our businesses or working, and on top of that, I'm trying to keep abreast of the coronavirus news without sort of getting totally sucked into the media. We're on alert as to when we can get a food delivery slot, working out what to cook for dinner, what time do we, when can we do the work that we need to do, the list goes on. So I think for me at the start, I kind of loved the idea of all these ideas we were being given, websites for homeschooling tips and Facebook groups and pen friends for the children and indoor craft activities and all of that. But I mean, to be honest, my 5-year-old got bored of Joe Wicks within 3 days. So for the first couple of days it was like, yeah, this is fantastic, and I had an idea of the schedule that I wanted to do, and then it was kind of, well, she got bored and I got bored of my own cooking. And I think sometimes you just have to think, let's just have a break from all of this, and let's not do try to be perfect, and and just try and do what we can. And so for me, I just have a few things that I do that kind of keep me sane a bit, or just is good for my mental health. So I kind of decided that for me, during the day, I would either focus on homeschooling or focus on my work, and I wouldn't be trying to juggle both at the same time. So if I didn't have any urgent meetings or deadlines, I would focus on homeschooling the little one, and by the time it was break time, she's quite ready to go and do her own thing. She'd had enough of me. But if I've got urgent things to do work wise, I'm quite happy to put a film on for her for a bit, or let her have a play with some games on the iPad or whatever, and I just get on with my work. I don't sort of beat myself up about that and think, oh my god, I'm not doing this and I'm not doing that. I just get what needs to be done. And I kind of think it's quite nice to have a lie-in if I'm feeling a bit tired, or I've had a big day the day before, just having those moments where you kind of just do what you need to do for yourself, cuddle up on the sofa and watch Frozen 2 again, with the little one, get a takeout delivered. I think we've all kind of, I definitely thought, right, okay, I'm going to start making food from scratch. I've got the time, and trying to be, be careful with, the items that you've got, not knowing when you can get another shop and that kind of thing. But sometimes you just have to, we'll get takeaways, we'll have a barbecue in the middle of the day, or just put the schoolwork to one side basically, and just think, okay, let's do what's good for the family right now, and just work when I can. So I think the message that the thing I wanted to talk about in this part of this session is just, to be kind and just sort of do what's right for you in that moment. So over to you now, Stefania.
Well, now you use this line, being kind to yourself, and I think I want to use the same line, but from a personal style perspective, because I really believe, for me, it is working at the moment, that even if we are not meeting anybody, even if you're not going outside, keeping our beauty routine in this situation can really help us feeling more confident, and also facing the situation to the best, getting out of it to the best. So I'm not going to tell you what to do, because it is really personal. I just suggest you to keep the same routine as before, if possible, on a daily basis, from the skincare to the makeup, if you were applying your makeup. And also try to do something extra, because this is the chance, right? I don't believe that you as a mom in business or working mom has had so much more time before to take care of yourself. And maybe now it's your chance to do that. So I'm doing everything I was doing before. The rest is some days that I don't want to put some makeup and I don't do it, but I try to do it. And I also added something extra. For example, every weekend when my husband is, available to look after the child, I do every weekend a facial mask. I didn't have time to do it before, or I wasn't thinking about it before, And I also just bought a new range of products, and I also bought a new, I don't know if you ever heard about it, it's a pink jade roll that actually is helping your skin to, I never heard about it. I just watched some videos and I said, you know what, it's not the super expensive treatment. I want to do it. And it makes me feel better. I suggest you to do this once again, because I think the focus here is not about looking good for the others, but is looking good for yourself, because this is making you feel good. This is going to making you feel better. And the moment we are getting out again, you haven't lost, let's say, the confidence, you haven't lost your daily routine, and you're gonna feel ready to get back to reality. From a business perspective, I think in this situation, we should be put ourselves out there even more than before. So with social media, Instagram stories, for example, whether you have, I don't know, like a creative business like mine or not, maybe this is the chance to connect with people even more than before. And you don't have to put your face on in stories or posts every time, but I think it's actually good for people, you know, make them see who's behind the business. So if you want to, if you're living a nice moment, if you want to take a photo of yourself, or you want to publish a, you know, a post or a photo, you are ready. You just have to take a photo. You don't have to prepare yourself. On the other hand, you might have a Zoom call, so a virtual meeting like this one, or you want to start creating your own video content. So don't wait for the occasion to do that. Every day can be your occasion. So if you're ready for it, you can just start every moment. So I think this is my first great tip.
No, it's a great idea, Stefania, because I tend to have, which I'll come on to in a minute, but I sort of tend to have like at least like a couple of Zoom meetings a day. And so we talked about this just before, and I sort of tend to just get my mate, you know, just get ready as if I was going out of the house, you know, and because it kind of makes me feel better. I don't feel like, I just feel more normal, and I feel more like myself. And so it's a really great tip. So moving on from that, the next section we wanted to talk about was about planning. And these are my tips basically. And obviously, like I said, you know, I'm not a guru in, you know, and I'm not going to tell anybody what to do in their day, but this is just what helps me. So, and it'd be great to hear, you know, tips from yourselves at the end. So for me, having a planned day is really important for my mental health, actually, and it's how I feel about myself, and it makes me feel better, even just knowing that there is going to be some structure. Not saying that I'm a control freak or anything like that, but it just means that I know that I'm going to get X, Y, and Z done, and that's in that day, and that's part of my, you know, bigger picture for the week and bigger picture for the month, and where I want my business to go. See, now the extra addition of having children at home. So what I decided to do quite early on is basically decide whether or not to sorry, can anyone hear anything in the background, or is that no one can hear anything? Slightly. Okay,
don't worry,
that's okay. Can you believe we've got a radiator broke in the house, and basically it just, we've had to get a plumber around actually. So basically I basically decided that, you know, if I'm going to be homeschooling Ines, and that would be by priority, and if I was going to work, then that would be by priority too. I sort of started off the first week or so kind of juggling both, and that didn't really help me, because then I was getting a bit like cross with her or myself because I couldn't do a bit of work, or I needed to give her a bit more attention. So it was quite easy at the beginning to just kind of think, okay, I'm just going to focus on one or the other and kind of do that where I can. So that's my first tip basically, is just to have one focus. The second part as well, the second tip is that you know, I kind of know that because I want my business to continue to grow, then I do need to find the extra time to kind of put in as much as I can of a working day. So I try and find those hours where I can. Now this might not be for everybody, but for me, I kind of end up getting up like an hour or so earlier. And so this might just put the fear into anyone's heart if they're not an early bird, but that works for me. But I'm not a night owl. So some people can, say, do a couple of hours work after their little ones have gone to bed. But for me, it's easier to find those couple of hours. And actually I find it really productive because I actually can just get things done much more in that amount of time. So that's really handy as well. So I also, like I mentioned at the beginning, it was kind of, I thought, right, I need to keep in touch with the outside world. So I'm going to make sure I have some Zoom calls. And then I realized that actually I had too many Zoom calls. So like I basically am quite strict now with when I do have meetings with clients or one-to-ones, and I kind of stick to her break time. So at lunchtime or straight after, like her school day. So by then she's completely had enough of me and she's more than happy to go and play, obviously while I'm watching her, or like watch something on TV, or with a tablet or something. So that kind of really works. And what I've also done this Easter is I've kept to the routine, because I think it's exactly going back to the original point, is that if I do some stuff with her, she's quite happy then just to be left alone, and I can actually get some really a really good productive hour or so at lunchtime, and then I have the time after 3:30 or after 3:00. But again, it's like going back to being kind to ourselves. So I might have all of this in place, but if she needs a bit of mummy time or a cuddle or whatever, then I just put it to one side, and that's what happens basically. So I'm now planning as well, so touching upon the business side, is I'm actually planning like for my business during lockdown, and I'll talk about that in the next section a bit more. But I'm planning for what I'm doing now work-wise, and what I'm happy and I feel comfortable to do with regards to my business. But I'm also planning for when I come out of it. So I'm planning for things over the next 3 months, and then what I want to launch and what I want to do as we start to ease out of lockdown, hopefully. And another little tip as well, which is a little bit lighter, is just things which make it easier. I think everyone's a lot of the mums that I know kind of watching like hawks when they can get like Tesco delivery slots, or Asda or whatever. I'm kind of going local, which I'm sure many of I seem to think a lot of people are. So local as to when like I get a local veg box delivered. I've sort of rung up the local fishmonger, and I've actually found out they deliver and there's no hassle. So it's little tips like that I'm sort of picking up from other local mums as well, as to what to do just to make our lives easier, because I think we can get it takes away stress. Then you don't need to worry about when you're getting groceries in, or etc. And it's a lovely idea to share as well. So that's kind of it for me on the planning, the practical side.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to add, regarding the planning your day, but sometimes something unexpected happens. So when we started the lockdown, my son, 2.5 years old son, was happily having his nap in the afternoon, 1.5 hours, 2 hours, sometimes more. And then what happens is that, probably because he's not getting tired enough, is skipping his nap. So, I had this plan, okay, every day I'm going to have 1.5 hours, 2 hours to focus on my business. Perfect. And then everything, the plan has changed. So I had to reschedule everything, rethink everything. And I think it's important what you were saying before. This can happen to everybody, to every one of us. Because we are dealing with children, with living creatures that are evolving, are changing, and are coping with totally new situation. So I think we just need to try not to stress out too much. Dymphna, are you there? Oh my God, I think we lost her. Are you there? Okay, what happened?
No, nothing. I just had to go and speak to over eager plumbers. So there we go. This is what's working from home is all about. So I'm back.
Okay, no, I could see your image stuck. So, well, no, that's it. From my side, I think planning is a good word as well for the next tip, because obviously, professional, business related, if you have when you plan your day, you can also plan your beauty routine somehow around your business appointments. Because, for example, if you have a Zoom meeting, a virtual event, or a virtual meeting with a potential clients or customer or partner, you know that for that meeting, you need to try to look your best. And now actually we cannot look our best, especially in this situation, every day, every time. So we need to work around that schedule, the plan, and think, okay, today at 3 I have the call. I need to get ready for that call. And yeah, so if you can plan in advance your week from a professional point of view, you can also plan your beauty routine and try to look your best for the appointment that you have. And I suggest you to really, make the extra effort, because now more than ever, I think it's important to try to give the right message, the best impression and everything when you connect with people. And you don't have to do anything extraordinary. Just try to be the best version of yourself. And it's not that difficult, I guess. I do it with my husband. It's just the two of us looking after the child all the time. He's working from home. I'm trying to run my business while I look after him and dealing with everything else. So I know it is difficult. But when I know I have something like this meeting today, I plan my meeting and I plan everything. Let's say I share everything, my agenda with him, so we can, help each other. And I think that's my second tip.
Okay, brilliant. No, that's excellent. Thank you very much, Dymphna, for that. So the last part of this is going back to what I was saying about planning for your business. Now, I don't know what situations you're all in at all, but I think, the first 3 weeks for me, and this is what I could see, is that a lot of people, and being sensitive to this as well, a lot of people some people were struggling, some people, their businesses just disappeared, where they had to be in contact with people. They couldn't do that anymore. Or some people just couldn't see, a way out, basically. And obviously some people did lose loved ones. So I think, the first few weeks was about being sensitive to that. But I think now we're sort of going into this phase of the next new normal, that I think it's okay to sort of like think, okay, I can still try and grow my business while still coming from a place of integrity, and I think that's showing sensitivity and being authentic. We can still show up and still, grow our businesses. So, but I think there's a different way of doing it now. And I see that, I can see the people that I really like and I really respect and the way they're doing it. And then I see perhaps the not so good as well. And I know how I feel about that. So, these are some little tips I've seen people doing. This is what I intend to do. And that's what I am doing is look at, giving help where you can, for free, just a little bit of free advice, just giving something back and doing something, coming from that place of being authentic. But also then moving on from that. Now, not everything does need to be for free, and we can still now start to tell people about other things that we are doing, which, we can still say, okay, this is, the fee for doing that. I can offer this service. I can offer, a coaching program, or I can do, do whatever it is, basically, and maybe obviously adjust the price, because we might not have the same amount of overheads. If I was going to do a one-day workshop, I wouldn't necessarily have the fee for the meeting room. So I can offer it at a lower price, which kind of fits perhaps the way people feel at the moment. So you can still offer. I think we can start talking about what we can offer. The third thing as well is how I feel is there's a lovely saying, which is, how you do one thing is how you do many things. And I think, how we are and behave in this time, is kind of quite reflective of how we do many things, and people will remember us for that. I've had some instances where I've wanted, I've had these meetings lined up with people, and as soon as lockdown hit, they didn't really want to meet up with me. They were too busy, but they wanted me to buy their online programs and products. And I'm just thinking, oh my goodness, and I was very nice, no thank you kind of thing. But I will remember that, and I mean, of course you'll give someone a second chance, but I think, if you've got a pattern of doing things like that, that's what people are going to be looking at, And also another aspect to that as well, you know, it's how we are in this time. So if we're looking for positives, if we're keeping busy, if we're talking to people, it kind of creates that pattern where, you know, and then you can start to create things from that. If you're busy and you're looking for opportunities and you're looking at the positives, you know, and you're managing your business and you're doing cash flow and you're kind of thinking, okay, what can I offer that, you know, is suitable for this time? You know, you start to create. And that's a good pattern to have, because then it's like a roll-on effect. You know, and I'm, like I mentioned before, I'm planning for now the sorts of things that I can do over the next 3 months. And, you know, the workshops, I'm looking at potentially workshops that I can do online, which will benefit people, genuinely benefit people at this time. You know, what can I offer my one-to-one clients? But also then planning, okay, what am I going to be doing once we come out of this? And of course, nobody knows when that is, but you know, you can kind of make an idea for yourself, and you can start to have different plans in place. You know, okay, if we come out of this, it's September, or if it's whenever, you know, if it's earlier. So that means that you're already one step ahead, and you can adjust and react to the situation, you know. And so I firmly believe there are ways that, you know, we can grow our businesses, you know, as long as we're being authentic. So that was my final tip.
Okay. Can you hear me? Because I think my internet is a bit slow. Can you hear me well?
Definitely fine.
Okay. Now it's interesting, and actually this is what we are doing now. I think the whole point of this talk and the other talks I'm doing is about this sharing, giving our hand in a genuine way. I personally, I'm receiving a huge amount of, you know, promotions and selling emails and selling webinars, and I'm so fed up with them. I feel so overwhelmed, and I am just deleting every email that I receive that I can see that has a selling point behind it. So this is also why we're doing this, because I was really feeling in this situation, I don't feel like I want to sell something or try to. I want to help people in a very genuine way. So what you are doing, what you said is really important, I think, in this particular situation. And also the fact that hopefully people will remember you for what you have done for them in this situation. Okay, from me, my last tip, I think, is the more practical one. So get ready. Now it's time to write down some notes, I think. So what is one of the things we are struggling the most when we have like a Zoom call with a client or a partner or a virtual meeting anyway? And the moment before, we were preparing food, cooking, or maybe playing with the little ones, and we just, you know, we were just wearing a jumpsuit or something basic, very easy. And now we had that meeting, and we have 2 minutes to swap our clothes and become business moms, business women, entrepreneurs, and look our best. So what I have done and what I suggest you to do is to reorganize a little your wardrobe. How? First of all, people are gonna see only your top part, which is an advantage point, because you don't have to think about your whole outfit. Though having a whole outfit can help you feel more confident, but you don't have to, which is a good point. You only have to think about your top part. For that top part, you need to be sure that it's really good for you. So try to make 2 different piles of tops in your wardrobe. One with your basics, or anyway, you know, house stuff, and one with your business tops, your top tops. And you know that when you have the Zoom meeting, you can just swap your tops, and you have the pile with the good tops, and you can just grab one and get ready in 2 minutes. The second tip I give you is to also think about accessories. So for example, if you want to wear your tops with some earrings or necklaces or anything else, because they can give, you know, the extra touch to your half bust. Try to think about it before. You can have fun by taking some pictures to your tops together with some accessories, so you won't have to think about what to wear it with. you will have your pictures ready, you will have ideas ready, and this is going to help you get ready in really a snap. I think that's everything. Did you write down?
That's absolutely brilliant tips, actually, Stefania, because I try and, if I'm doing a meeting, I'll try and definitely the top half dress as if like I'm actually having a meeting face to face in person with that person, and it does kind of help, and it makes me feel better for sure.
Yeah, an accessory, once again, you don't have to wear, you know, earrings like I'm doing now or necklaces, but once again, maybe the day you didn't have your shower, you couldn't have a blow dry, is it? Okay, blow dry. So for example, thinking about accessories that can save you from, you know, that can make you look good and flawless, like headbands or scarves or other kind of accessories, can really help you. So if you know already what to wear in that situation, for example, it's gonna save you, you know, the stress, from the stress of it.
No, that's brilliant, and it's good as well, because I think it's, you know, we're not going out as much, and if we're going out, we should really, you know, we're supposed to be going for a walk or whatever it is, or exercise, and it's nice to just, for me, to feel a bit more like myself and to continue. Yes. And it's good for, you know, the mind as well.
It's good for the mind. Some experts say that there is a sort of chemical reaction that happens in our brain. So for example, if you wake up and you feel a bit low and you just wear, you know, loose clothes and you don't put on makeup or anything, you are gonna feel even lower. If you kind of do the extra effort and you wear something nice and you put on some makeup and you do something to treat yourself, you're gonna lift up your spirit. So somehow there are bad days, but somehow we have the power to control, to affect our mood. I think that's it. As you know, I'm gonna do others free talks, so if you want to know about it, just let me know. And with Dymphna, we were just thinking yesterday also to have a workshop together, maybe in 1 month or maybe June, we don't know. We have to sit together virtually and decide what to do, but just in case you want to know the details, just let us know. And that's it.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye. Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Bye.